removing snow on the bridge, preventing water from pooling, and lots of other maintenance issues were among items discussed in Monday's meeting.
When you're looking at that on maintenance, one of the things that's always in the back of my mind, we had original discussion about how do you get rid of snow on that bridge? And one thought is blow it over the side. And if we can actually do that, and I think we ought to ask Salmon Safe, then that's the cheapest way to get rid of it.
And there's some options for that. It depends on what you're treating it with. What you can where you can discharge it and how.
We're not driving.
But people are driving with cars where the undercarriage of the car is covered with salt encrusted slush. Then they go onto the bridge. It dumps onto the bridge, and then we're then plowing it over the side. I can't believe that would be permissible.
Yeah. I don't. It probably will not be, but we'll look at those options and bring you back kind of a. So what I foresee is that there'll be like a maintenance manual for the bridge, and we'll have here's all the maintenance the bridge requires, and then in that manual we'll determine who's going to do that maintenance.
And here are parts of that earlier discussion on different kinds of maintenance involving the future bridge.
Something to be thinking about is how you want to maintain the stormwater system. Do you want to contract with one of the local agencies, one of the states to do your maintenance, or whether or not you want to hire a maintenance crew before the bridge opens?
So where this is on the Washington side. Yeah. There's a pond out there now that's kind of hidden and buried. And one option is to try and expand that, put our water into it as well, and then make some kind of a deal of either shared costs or maybe we just take over the cost of it.
Yeah, and you'll have something similar on the Oregon side. There's no pond there today, but there will be a pond on the Oregon side that somebody will have to maintain. So that'll be another one that we'll bring back to you once we have a little more understanding of it. They're also looking at the piping on the bridge to see whether or not that is going to be required, or whether they can collect all the water at the ends and then flow it to the ponds. When we moved the water collection from the median barrier to the outside barrier, it allows for more spread into the walkway paths rather than into travel lanes. There's more restrictions on spread, which is how much the water pulls into a travel lane versus into a walking path. So that may allow us to reduce the amount of pipe on the actual bridge, which would reduce the cost of that conveyance system. It doesn't change treating it, but it just changes the piping of it.
Can you explain the word spread?
So spread is the amount of ponding that would happen at your inlets. So as you'll see around an inlet, there's typically a pond of water. How far that pond is allowed to outreach is considered your spread. So when it's next to a roadway, typically it's not allowed to encroach into the travel lanes. Don't use I-84 as an example.
That was just about that question.
You're not to do it.
Theoretically, you're not supposed to do that. If you move that over, which we have done by having everything slope to the downstream barrier, that spread is bigger in a pedestrian path. So we've got that 20-foot bike pedestrian path that can allow for more ponding than what you can in the 4-foot shoulders on the travel lane. So it may allow us to shorten the number of inlets and shorten the amount of pipe. It'll still all get collected. It'll go into the pond. It's just how many pipes and how many inlets do you need to collect it.
So you're basically saying the road, instead of grounding the road at the center line of the travel lanes, it's going to the entire bridge, going to single down
slope from east to west all the way.
Yeah.
Down river.
West. Yeah. River. Previously, if you remember, we had a low point at the median barrier.
Yes.
And we changed that to slope everything to the outside barrier.
Okay.
So that helps in all of that, in that change. So
let me interrupt because I think it's important that one reason why we're doing this is we're trying to maintain the cost of the bridge.
Yeah.
And we've got the 1.12 billion, and we're trying real hard to find ways to optimize the design to drive the cost down. We're going to have some growth someplace else, but we're doing everything we can to try and cramp that down. This is one of the ideas.
And are there negatives to that? One thing I can imagine is not ice.
Yeah, not really. I mean, in a freezing condition, if it's spread out more, you may end up with a little more ice around the inlet, but that's where we'll take that into consideration and leave at least a 10-foot minimum area that the water would not spread into. So the bikes might be constrained in an icy situation into that 10-foot path. But that would be the only downside would be a narrowing of that 20 feet during a high storm event.
I was thinking more of the crowning is helpful so that cars don't slide into each other instead of slide away from each other.
Well, the way we were crowning it, we were actually sloping everything towards the median
Oh, it
barrier.
works, okay.
It works, yeah.
It's a good solution.
It's actually better this way than. Yeah.
Okay.
Mike,